Hi, my name is Valentine, and in this video we're going to talk about what a data scientist does in an organization. If you're a data science beginner or a data science enthusiast, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. We'll start off by defining who a data scientist is, and we're going to get to know more about the different tasks that a data scientist actually does. A data scientist is a person who uses scientific methodologies to extract meaningful insights from data, and as a result of this, solve for complex problems. In the process of answering complex questions, a data scientist usually performs a set of tasks, and these tasks include understanding the business goal, sourcing the data, understanding the sourced data, performing data cleaning, performing data exploration, performing data preparation, then later onwards performing data analysis, then later evaluation and data presentation. So when a data scientist receives a research problem, they first focus on understanding the project objectives from a business perspective. Then they later formulate a data science problem that achieves that particular project objective. To give you an example, a data scientist working for a telco might receive the following research problem. The business team would like to understand the behavior of the customers by analyzing relevant customer data, and they would like to determine whether the customers will churn or not. By churning, it means whether we'll be losing customers or not. Upon going through that statement, the data scientist might come up with the following data science problem. So develop a classification model with an accuracy greater than 80% that predicts whether customers will churn or not. Once a data scientist has understood the business goal and they have come up with a data science problem, they would then set out to look for data that would help them, say, build that solution that they intend to. In this case, it's the classification model. The data that they would use would come from varying sources. Sometimes it could come from relational databases. In other cases, it could come from simply Excel files. So the task of a data scientist is to go look out now for that data from whatever place it's stored. In most cases, data scientists usually work with structured data. So hence the reason why they would now use knowledge of SQL to come up with some queries which would select the data that they would only need from now the respective data sources or databases. So once they source for data from the different sources that they've had, they would then import that data into an environment that they can be able to use to just have an understanding of the data that they have. And an example of such an environment might be Jupyter Notebook. It might be a dashboard environment like Tableau or Power BI or whatever other environment that would be helpful in doing all of that. Now, once they have understood their data, then they would now resort to performing data cleaning. And this task involves ensuring that the data that they collected is correct, consistent, and usable. And having clean data allows a data scientist to have the highest quality of information that would help them make recommendations and even resort to decisions by various stakeholders. So it's really important that a data scientist has clean data. This process of performing data cleaning might involve handling duplicates, handling missing data, and also handling irrelevant data. The next step is to perform data exploration, and this process involves performing an initial analysis on the data set in order to uncover patterns that could be important at a later stage. For example, a data scientist might perform data exploration in order to determine which variables to consider when performing an analysis of probably creating models and probably just answering a research question that they had if it's not a modeling one. So in this case, some of the techniques that they would perform would be performing univariate analysis or bivariate analysis. Univariate analysis just means performing analysis on individual variables in order to understand possibly the dispersion or central tendency or the distributions of each variable. Bivariate analysis, it could be probably looking at relationships between different variables. Now, the next thing would be to perform data preparation. So at this point, a data scientist would transform their raw data into a form that is appropriate for analysis, and they could perform feature transformation techniques such as standardization or normalization to ensure that all variables are within one particular scale. In other cases, they could also perform feature engineering techniques to select only the variables of interest, especially when it comes to performing modeling. The next thing that would happen is that a data scientist would now move on into the data analysis stage, where they could potentially create a descriptive analysis report, or in some other cases, they would be required to create a model. By creating descriptive analysis reports, this might entail employing techniques such as filtering, sorting, to create just summary tables that would help them answer the research problem if it's of a descriptive nature. And on the other hand, maybe the analysis might entail creating a model. And this process might involve simply selecting an algorithm, building a model, and assessing that particular model to see whether it met the success criteria. The next task would be to perform evaluation, where they would assess whether the results of the analysis satisfied the business question that they had set out to answer. For example, did they create a model with an accuracy score of 80% as had set in the data science problem? Last but not least, data presentation. And this is where a data scientist might be required to present their findings to the relevant stakeholders, or to present their solution as well. In some cases, they might also be required to just write a final report or come up with a deployment plan or the next steps plan, and pass it on, and pass all of that to a different team to complete working on that. In some cases, a data scientist might receive critical feedback, which would prompt them to repeat the entire process or all the tasks in order to further improve the project that they were working on. So that's it for this video. If you would like to get to learn more about what it takes to become a data scientist through informative videos like this one, be sure to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.